Welcome back to the United and Stormwind card preview podcast thing with
All
with
right,
me, ADWCTA.
it's me, Merps. We are gonna do classes. We're gonna do them fast. I promise you, we're gonna do them
We're
fast.
not gonna
Okay?
do them fast.
No, we are. So we're just gonna do this by order, right? Not the best, or are we still doing the best?
Okay, we'll do them by
Let's just do it
order.
by
Let's
order.
just
We'll
do it
just
by
do it by
order. We're
order.
gonna do
Okay,
it
it's
by
easier.
mana class order just because it's easier. Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier. Okay.
Okay. So the first card that we're gonna talk about. So we're not gonna talk about any of the quests, right? We're gonna do them like legendaries, everything all together. But we're not gonna talk about quests because they're not in the arena. Or we haven't had that confirmed, but the other ones weren't. And if these are, whatever, they're legendaries. So the first one we're actually going to talk about is Metamorphic. 1 mana, 1/2 taunt, Murloc, Battle Cry. If you cast a fell spell this turn, gain +2/+2. By the way, we're in Demon Hunter. I don't know if we announced it, but we're starting with Demon Hunter. We're going down in alphabetical order.
All right. This is a D plus. At the end of the day, the problem is fell spells are not like, first of all, you have to have a spell. You want to cast it, and then a 1 mana 3/4 taunt is really good. Yeah, that's good. But like, man, you gotta really combo it and everything. It's a D plus, which I think is very fair.
Yeah, it means that
Like,
you'd rather have like a Yeti, but this is probably the equivalent to a River Croc.
yeah, and it's really small if you aren't casting a fell spell.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's there. It's fair.
I mean, it's a Gorgeour
All right.
Footman.
Yeah.
Next one, another 1 mana card, Sigil of Alacrity, 1 mana. At the start of your next turn, draw a card and reduce its cost by 1. So basically, bank a mana
Bank of
into a
mana,
card.
but you don't get to see it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you're banking. Because you got to bank it to the next turn. But now it's tied to this new card, and you don't know when you're going to be able to play it. So it's a C. So it's like a little bit better than a Yeti, around a Yeti. It's a pretty good way to kind of just preserve your mana and your card quality. And by the time you get to like C rankings, like C plus is probably what the average card in the deck is, and C is like below the average card in the deck. And so you're picking this above like D plus stuff that's like even like worse. So it's a good way to preserve some quality in your deck.
Yeah, and also, it's a good way for you to, use up mana and save mana, right? It's a way to save mana that you otherwise might have wasted. So yeah, you don't get it immediately, but you get to save that mana. Like, you might not get to see the card for a little bit, but then you find a turn in which you are hanging a mana, and then you're like, okay, instead of hanging mana, I'll do this, and then the discount that you eventually get might matter.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a C. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's better than people think. People are like, what am I doing here? But it's like, look, if your other choices are worse. Like, don't take a bad card. Take this. Next card, Fell Barrage. 2 mana, fell spell. Deal 2 damage to the lowest health enemy. Twice.
It can go face. This is a C plus. I wanted it higher.
I wanted it lower. So we compromised and made it a C plus. So
I could have gone a B for this one. I like this one.
alright, why do you like it? Explain it.
Okay, look. I think you deal a decent amount of damage for 2 mana, right? You deal 4 damage, and it's not exactly like a cleave in which it can't just go on a single target. It can go on a single target. It can target face if their face is low, in which case you probably want to go face anyways. So I like all the implications here and all the flexibility.
Okay. I think it's like as non-controllable as a cleave, probably even less controllable. Just because if your opponent happens to have a 1 health minion or like a 2 health minion that you don't want to kill and you want to actually use it as 2 mana 4 damage, you can't quite do it. Now, even at C plus, it's still like at C plus, it's still better than 2 mana deal like 3 damage, right? Like this is still 4 damage. It's still better, but there is like I'm not fully comfortable enough with the conditionalness of it. I think it's going to be awkward more often than you think it'll be. to fully put it up into the B category. Like imagine you have a 5/4 that you want to get rid of, and there's also a 2/1. Like you have to get rid of the 2/1 first before you can play this card.
Yeah, yeah. I get it. Okay. So that's where we're at with this card. I wanted it to be a B. We ended up at a C plus. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Fine.
Next card is Chaos Leech, 3 mana, Fel spell. 3 mana, Lifesteal. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Outcast. Deal 5 instead.
It's a C. It's fine.
3 mana, 3 damage is pretty terrible. Lifesteal is nice, but it's just 3 health. And Outcast.
5 damage is good.
Yeah, 5 damage is good, but it's
5 damage is good.
It's like a fireball at that point. It's like a 3 mana version of a fireball. It does get you, even more like lifesteal, but it's kind of like hard to set up, and this can't go face.
Yep. Okay, next we have Lion's Frenzy, 3 mana 02 weapon. Has attack equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. Big fat F plus. It's like, okay, it's not an actual F, because F is really bad. There are ways to make this not an F, and that's why it is an F plus. That's where we're at.
I don't need to talk about this card. But I do want to mention how you notice that all the other cards, like it was at most going to be perhaps a B, but like, maybe a C plus. There's a whole bunch of C's. Demon Hunters are not getting very good cards, and they've lost a lot of good cards in this. With Ashes of Outlands and Skullman's Academy leaving. I forgot. I don't have the full list here with me before, but like, just name a good card and they don't have it anymore. Like they've lost 75% of their good cards. So this is going to be a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next, Gorgeour, epic card, 4 mana, 4/3. Battlecry, draw a Fel spell, reduces cost by 2. You're probably going to have a Fel spell in your deck. Not a guarantee by the time you want to play this card, but probably. And so you reduce its cost by 2. It's good. We gave it a B.
Quite good. Yeah, like the reduction is significant. Yep. All right, that's it. Cool. Next, we have Persistent Peddler. This is a 4 mana, 4/3 tradable. Death Rattle, summon a Persistent Peddler from your deck. We gave this a D plus. It could happen. Like, it could happen. You could have another one of these, I guess. The tradable makes it like
it's tradable. Better. That's why
it's
D
tradable.
Plus. Like you're probably not going to have another one, but it's basically just wait until you trade the card. And tradable, like we said, right? Tradable itself is pretty much a D plus.
So one of the issues with this card is in order to make it work, which means the third one is like good, right? But you have to draft the first one. Like, you have to draft the first one. And you're probably drafting it over decent cards. And then your chances of drafting more, and then it's not even like the second one is amazing. The second one is just like better. Good. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good. This would be like a 5-drop, you'd think? Yeah, sure. It would be like a 5-drop. It would be like a legit 5-drop.
Yeah. But then, like, and then afterwards, like, oh man, maximum value time. The real problem is like you got to pick that first one, and you got to pick it over like an on average better card. So you better get that payoff. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the real issue here with like the Persistent Peddler. So I understand Dred's rated this 4 out of 5, and I have no idea why.
Wait, seriously?
He did. I have no idea why.
Oh my god.
I don't.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how much you average, but let me put it this way. At no point in the history of Hearthstone Arena were you able to be offered, on average, even 2 of the same card. At no point. The highest was like 1.9 something. So, could this be good? I mean, you would have to get to unrealistic, I think, levels of offering rates. Now, it is true that we are getting rid of a lot of Demon Hunter
Yeah,
cards, so that the
yeah.
remaining offering rates, it's unclear how the offering rates are going to be increased. But I'm betting, like, it could be that all the other class cards fill the offering rates, right? Which would, in effect, add like about 50%, almost 50, maybe like 40% to all the offering rates. But normally, these days a card is offered like no more than like once per draft, like on average. Like even the most common cards are offered like once. So even if it gains a 40% bonus, it's going to be offered like 1.5 times. Like you're still not getting to the point where you want to be taking this card. So you end up in this situation where you take this card because it was up against really bad stuff, and then you want to take the second card and third card, etc. But you never really want to just start going down this path because it's probably going to be a D level card. Like remember, if this had no ability at all, this would be a high D. This ability is making it a D plus. Like we're not giving a lot of stock into this ability. But again, it is Blizzard's control of the offering rates on individual cards. So
It could
who
happen.
knows
I don't
what
know.
Blizzard's gonna
Yeah,
do?
could happen. Like I'm not giving it a high chance at all. I'm just saying Blizzard could make anything happen, and this is within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So sure.
And even if you do have two copies, they can't both be in your hand. Like you actually, it has to be in your deck. So you still have like some 10 whatever percent chance of needing to draw the card before you're able to play out your first persistent peddler.
Yeah.
And then you have like two bad cards. All right. Next is Ironbound Brute. Ironbound Brute, 7 mana, 6/7, taunt. Costs 1 less for each card drawn this turn. So you're at least drawing one card. So it's at least a Boulderfist Ogre with a taunt.
And a demon.
And a demon. But it's probably just going to be a Boulderfist Ogre with a taunt and a demon.
Right.
So
and a demon. But like, it's a C. Because once again, Boulderfist Ogre is not good. So if you look at how Yeti is a low C, and you're like, wait, but wouldn't Boulderfist Ogre be the same? And this is taunt. Boulderfist Ogre is not good.
Yeah.
Like, where's Boulderfist Ogre now? Like a D
plus.
Plus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like not like a D plus isn't like, that's right.
Is it even a D plus? It may not even be a D plus. It may be like a high D. Yeah, I think it's a high D.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I was like, if it's a D plus, it's not close to a C. Like
no, it's a high D. It's not a D plus.
Yeah, it's just a D. So this is a decent amount higher than just the Boulderfist Ogre.
Mm-hmm.
Like so we do give it credit for that. And that's one thing I want to point out because I think some people looked at it's like, oh, Yeti and Ogre. It's like the same. Right? It's
no,
it's not the same. Ogre is significantly worse. Like significantly worse.
Okay. I also see Horatian HS in chat says it's 0 mana with Skull. Skull's gone in the arena. So it is 0 mana with Skull, but it's not an arena thing anymore. This is what I mean. Demon Hunters are going to be so different than what you know Demon Hunters as at any time before this. Because we've never, ever seen Demon Hunter without Ashes of Outland, without Skullman's Academy.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Finally, we get to the legendary, also the last card, and it is Jace. Let's get some islands up in here. Jace Darkweaver, 8 mana, 7/5. Battle Cry. Cast all fell spells you've played this game. Targets enemies if possible.
All right.
Yeah.
C plus.
It's a C plus. I don't know if people think this is like a ridiculous card or whatever, but you're not going to play that many fell spells. Most of the ones you're going to play are going to be on the small side, and it's an 8 mana 7/5, so you got to cast quite a number of them for it to be worth it. You can't really control where they go, even if they are targeting enemies. They may not target the right ones. Yeah.
The one fell spell you're really hoping for is Chaos Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you played a Chaos Nova before, and that's a big if, right? That's the one you're hoping for. And if you cast that, then everything else is sort of a bonus, right? There's
Yep.
what? Also Chaos Strike. There's the ones that we just talked about. Those are small ones. They're
Hmm.
nice, but they're small. Um, Other than that, yeah, it's like even if you just get a couple of small spells off, it's not bad, but it's not super value by any means. If you get Chaos Nova off though, that's really good,
Yeah.
right? Then you get Chaos Nova on a stick. That's
Chaos Nova
supremely
has
good.
no RNG.
Right. There's no RNG involved. You don't have to target the right stuff, but that's pretty specific.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it for Demon Hunter. What do you think about Demon Hunter?
Man, good riddance, you know? Okay, here's the problem with Demon Hunter and the problem they've always had. They've had uh too little dilution because they weren't burdened with like cards from 5 years ago,
Hmm.
right? And they just had too much good stuff, like too much good big cards. That is way too problematic. And you can try to balance out the offering rates of cards such that you can make Demon Hunter fairly balanced. As we've seen, right? When it started, it was either OP or dead, OP or dead. And then recently they got Demon Hunter like, kind of okay-ish. But the problem is um you can adjust offering rates, but you're just going to have games in which it's like they had the cycle of hatred, they had the expendable performers, so they won. They didn't have it, so they don't win. So you can manipulate the stats to say on Aegis Replay, hey, they have a win rate of like 50%, and it's good, but it's not the same as a class that like has closer games, win sometimes, lose sometimes, and there's a little back and forth. You don't want it to just be like, I blew you out with Cycle of Hatred. I died pathetically because I didn't have any of the OP cards,
Yep.
Coil
But that's
Fang,
what it's going to
etc.
be, and that's still what it's going to
Yeah,
be. That hasn't
yeah,
changed about Demon Hunter. Inquisitor is still in. I don't know, probably a couple of other really big ones that I can't think of right now.
yeah.
Um,
But for me, I'm just fine with Demon Hunters if they suck for a while. To suck for a while, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it happening for a few months or whatever, and then we'll see where they go with that. But I am kind of just frankly pretty sick of expendable performers and Cycle of Hatred and Coil Fang, and they're missing all of them
they're
now.
all gone.
So
Yep.
they're all gone. All,
Mm-hmm.
all of those
Void Lord is Void
things are
Hound is
gone.
gone. Um,
Yeah.
Priestess is. I forget. I think Priestess is also gone.
Priestess of Fury is also
Yep.
gone.
Just like
Yeah.
so many things are gone. So what I think is going to happen is demon hunters are going to start out and they're going to be pretty weak relatively, and then they're going to get some offering rates buffed, and then you'll get to play with actual demon hunter cards. So maybe it'll be a nice change of pace for demon hunters to go the other way. What I hope they don't do is buff the offering rate of the remaining like ridiculous card Inquisitor, which is like I don't know. It's not the most infuriating card, but it's definitely one of those top three cards. Performer is still in, says Coast in chat. So you're running this
Oh,
danger,
sorry,
right?
sorry. Yeah,
Of
performance is in
Inquisitors
because I
and
forgot
perform.
that Darkmoon Fair
Yeah,
is
that's
in. Yeah,
Darkmoon
yeah,
Fair. So you
Darkmoon
have
Fair is in.
performers and you have Inquisitor, which is core. And so if the offering rates are maybe boosted, you're gonna see a lot of. I mean, those are two of the three worst ones, along with Cycle of Hatred, I think. With performance being number one, probably Inquisitor being two, and Cycle being three. And so you really don't want those offering rates boosted. So hopefully, Blizzard will actually put a human hand on it and boost the offering rates of some of these other cards while pushing down those cards. But who knows if that'll happen? It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Demon Hunter, regardless.
Yeah, they just don't have that many cards. Period.
Yep.
Okay, that's Demon Hunters. Cool.
All right. I want to give a shout out to our Patreons.
All right. Thank you guys. RV Night Train, Yin, 15 Gold Cringe, Eric L, Aaron LS, Dan F, Karova, Ari G, 4 p.m. brand new. Thank you guys so much. On to the next video.
On to Druids. See you guys in a bit.
Bye.